Greetings and welcome to the Worlds Collide live launch party. Tonight we are celebrating the launch of the mashup anthology Worlds Collide from Nordic Press. Basically, the whole gist of this is taking two genres or two things that don't usually interact with each other and going like that with them. Basically, it's a hell of a lot of fun. I'm from what I can tell, I've not actually got around to reading the full thing yet. But from what I could tell by the story titles, it's pretty bonkers. So yeah, so this should be a lot of fun. I've got 5 of the other authors with me tonight. We will be doing a reading. We'll have a Q&A. So if you have any questions, get them down in the old comments section. There should be a link in there to the book. I'll just check because I keep forgetting to check. Because I'm a moron. Yes, that should be there. Yep, it's coming up. That's the link you press to get hold of a copy of the book. Before we start, I haven't actually got a paperback copy, but I believe one of the other guests has. So we can have a proper look at it in a bit. But for now, here is the cover, which kind of says it all, really. You got a dinosaur, a cowboy, and a UFO. Kind of it does what it says on the tin, really. Okay, so right now we'll bring on our first guest, who is at the moment in sunny Stockport, which is just down the road from where I was born, basically. We have Charlotte Danielle. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Excellent.
How are you doing?
I'm good. What are you actually doing in Stockport? It can't be there for the sun or the...
There for my husband, basically. I've got a job nearby.
Nice. Gone there for the drizzle.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Well, today, it's the textiles industry, isn't it?
Big for that. Yeah. Big biscuit factory.
Yeah. The hat museum. Have you been to the hat museum yet?
I haven't. I keep.
That's hilarious. They've got a bit in it where you can try on all these ridiculous hats from throughout history. It's well worth a $5 to go and just arse around for an hour putting on stupid hats.
I will definitely do that.
It was one of those rainy days because it's round the corner from the train station, and I'd missed my train and I'd had a few in the afternoon. And I went, oh, sod it, I'm going to the hat museum because it was raining, you know.
Of course, it's always raining.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you have so many things near stations up there, isn't it? So you've got somewhere to hide when it's pissing it down.
You've got to be able to go inside.
Oh, God, yeah. Cafes are another good one, so you can always have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
So, Worlds Collide. What did you do for this? What genres, what things have you sort of made fit together?
It's a little bit random, which I think is what it called for. My story is called Zeus and the Zombies, so the title kind of it's what it says on the tin.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that was one of the ones I spotted the title and I was like, brilliant.
I had to do it. My husband is very supportive and he reads a lot of what I write, which isn't usually his genre. He likes zombie books and anything about Greek mythology. So when the call came for a mashup, I was like, oh, I'm going to do one for him.
Good work. I like it.
Well, there's a bit of time travel in there as well, just to throw that out there.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So you got 3 random things and smushed them all together. Brilliant.
I had fun with it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the whole point of this, wasn't it? It was one of those calls that when I saw it, I was like, how ridiculous can I be? It's just like, I need to be ridiculous here. There's no point not being utterly ridiculous. I need to go for it.
Oh, yeah. You don't often see calls like that. You've got to go wild with it.
Oh, God, yeah. Exactly. A lot of them, it's like when you see something slightly out of kilter, you've got to go for it, haven't you? It's yes. Why not? You may never get the chance to do it again. Zombie outbreak in ancient Greece. Why not? Perfect. So, are you going to give us a little bit of a taste of what you've got?
I am. Yeah.
Marvelous.
A short snippet ready.
Excellent. Yep. So, I will go off. I'll leave you to it. Just give me a wave or something when you're done. Okay.
Okey-doke. I have news, brother. Bad news. Zeus arched his brow. While you have all been frolicking your days away on Mount Olympus, the world below has fallen to ruin. Laughter echoed throughout the marble chamber. Hades glared at his family. This is no joke. A bolt of lightning crashed into the floor, accompanied by a clap of thunder. Enough, Zeus boomed. He turned to Hades. Why should we be concerned with the world? It has fared well enough without us for centuries. That is open to debate, brother. When did you last look down at the world our grandmother created? We are forgotten. Darkness spreads like a plague within the hearts of mortals. I would have noticed sooner, but the business of dying has always kept me busy. Until now. Hera looked up, her eyes sharp. What do you mean? I mean people are no longer dying when they should, dear sister. Some are, but many are living on in an undead state, their souls trapped by the survival of their bodies. If this goes on much longer, I do not know what the consequences will be. The other gods rose to their feet. Zeus's eyes met Hades, and the brothers shared a moment of silent communication. Is there a name for this abomination? Zeus asked. Hades nodded. They are called zombies. It is a plague of sorts, spread through scratches and bites. The humans fall, then rise as these mindless creatures, seeking the taste of their fellow men. It is an abomination. How could this happen? Hestia asked, biting her lip. It seems humans have become carried away with their own importance, Hades answered. They interfere with the natural order of things, create dangers in the name of science, and misuse the world they live in. Many things have gone awry in our absence. Zeus shook his head, his mouth narrowed into a thin line. Something must be done. Perhaps, Athena suggested, it is time for a new age of heroes. Hades cleared his throat. Before we act, you need to see what we're up against. It's like nothing we've seen before. Grabbing an empty bowl from the floor, Poseidon opened his hand and filled it with clear water. He held it before Zeus and the others. Small ripples moved outward from the centre, and an image slowly appeared. Where is that place? Aphrodite asked. Crete. All 12 gods gasped. In the water, a young couple cowered behind a closed door. Their tears cut tracks through the grime coating their faces. Loud thuds hammered against the wood, nails scraped. A low rumble, dozens of hungry growls, ebbed and flowed like the squealing grunts of Odysseus's men when Circe turned them all to pigs. As the wood split, rotting hands forced their way through the cracks, scratching and digging at any piece of flesh they could find. The couple screamed and sobbed. Blood poured from their wounds. The young man, hands trembling, took something from his bag and pointed it at the woman. Watching in horror, Athena asked, What's that? Hades swallowed. A gun, a deadly weapon. A loud bang silenced them. The woman in the water, eyes glazed in death, slouched forward with a gaping hole in her forehead. Gasping in ragged, wrenching breaths, the man turned the gun on himself and pulled the trigger. When both lay dead, the horde of zombies pushed their way through the door and feasted on the bodies. Poseidon threw the bowl of water against a marble pillar. We've seen enough, he growled. We must intervene. We can't go down there, Hades said. We don't know if this virus can infect us. The last thing the world needs is zombie gods. Yet we cannot let this continue unchecked. Athena pinched the bridge of her nose with 2 fingers. We are caught between Scylla and Charybdis in this situation. To act may prove unwise. To do nothing may prove disastrous. A solemn silence filled the heavens. Ares, black beard prominent on a square jaw, puffed his chest out. I will inspire new heroes to fight this war. The others looked at him. Which place is most affected? Los Angeles, Hades replied with a shudder. A lively city, where the people worship a breed of imposter gods called actors. Then I shall call upon one of them to save their people. With a click of his fingers, the war god disappeared. Aphrodite, Zeus said. The goddess of love took a mirror from the folds of her gown, and held it so they could all see. The glass shimmered before refocusing to show Ares. He materialized in the grounds of a large mansion, deftly avoiding stepping into a swimming pool shaped like a pirate ship. A bronzed man with chiseled muscles looked up from his fruity pink cocktail, eyes wide. "Who the fuck are you?" Ares folded his arms across his chest. "I am Ares, god of war. You will fight in my name." The drink slipped from the man's fingers. "You are Brett Withington, are you not?" Ares asked, a little less sure of himself. Brett gulped. "How did you get in here?" Ares sighed. "There is no time for this foolishness. Your people are dying. Why do you sit here and do nothing to save them?" Waving one hand in the air, Ares swapped Brett's revealing swimwear for sturdy leather armor and a sharp sword forged by Hephaestus himself. Brett's mouth opened and closed as he looked at the sword in his hand. Ares waved again, and Brett disappeared. With a satisfied nod, the god of war returned to his family on Mount Olympus and watched through the mirror as Brett reappeared in the midst of several zombies. "I fail to see why these actors are so worshipped," Artemis commented. Apollo shrugged. "Perhaps they have hidden powers we have not yet seen." In the glass, Brett held up his sword with shaking hands. A grey-skinned zombie with clumps of golden hair stumbled forward on strange wheeled footwear. "He's trembling," Zeus cried. "What manner of god is he?" A high-pitched shriek cut through the glass mirror. The gods watched, gasped, winced, and finally closed their eyes. Hera was the first to speak. "I do not think he was a god, nor a hero." "Whatever he was," Athena murmured, "he's dead now."
Brilliant.
Thank you.
There's some lines in there that got me. It was like they worship these weird gods that don't really do anything. I think they're called actors. That really made me chuckle. That it's just like...
Thank you. Glad.
Brilliant. Yeah, and whoever he was, well, he's dead now. I like it. I love it. That kind of deadpan. It's just always plays me.
Well, I figured the gods wouldn't really care.
Yeah, exactly. You're a god, aren't you? It's just like, meh, whatever.
Pretty
There's
much.
100 more of them in Hollywood, isn't there?
Yeah.
No, bravo. Well done. Yeah.
Thank you.
Luke, who's here, he's arrived, says, you have me at Zeus and the Zombies. So, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Karen says, brilliant. Yep. She also says, hello from Bristol. Greetings. Yeah, we've got Luke. Yeah, class, well done. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, really well done. Yeah. So, and Josiah, who's in the back as well. So well written, and the inclusion of Lady Goes and really I got to his heart. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, thank you so much.
Excellent.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that. Like I say, that's what I saw the title and I was like, I'm gonna like that. So all you people watching at home, if you have any questions for us, get them down in the comments section and we'll go through them at the end. Cheers for that, Charlotte. I will take you off and I will bring on our next guest, who is currently in Dublin in the Republic of Ireland. It's Mr. Derek Power. Hello, sir.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good. What's it like over there at the minute? It
is not raining, which is a novelty.
I was going to say, but it's raining.
It was pissing earlier on, but it's grand now. It's all good.
Oh, good. Excellent. Yeah. Nice one. So you're actually one of the runners of Nordic Press, aren't you? Yeah,
myself, Dave Green, and Christopher H are the three amigos of Nordic Press. Yeah, so I actually think this may have spawned from a silly joke I made one day about how it'd be great if we wrote a story about zombie leprechauns, and then it just like snowballed, and we were like, no, we have to do it. We have to have this story.
Please tell me that's what you did.
That's exactly what I did. My one is about zombie leprechauns.
Oh, good man. So we got ancient Greeks and zombies, and we got zombie leprechauns.
You have to do zombie leprechauns when you get the opportunity, right?
Yeah, damn right. Yeah. That was like with mine. It was kind of like, well, I have to try and murder some childhoods here. So I've got to take Lovecraft and mash it up with a childhood favourite somehow.
Originality at its finest.
It's got to be done, hasn't it?
It's got to be done.
Yeah, so what's your story called then, mate?
So it's called Fate and Begor, which is kind of a play on the whole Fate and Begorra phrase that you might hear from the old movies with Sean Connery and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just thought it was a suitable one. I had a different one in mind, but then somebody said, like, you're just passing up an opportunity here. Why don't you just have Begor? And I was like, that's genius. So if they're listening, thank you. I stole the title.
Well done. At least you're honest about it.
Totally, absolutely.
Yeah, we're writers. We nick things all the time.
All the time. Nobody has an original idea anymore. They're all just recycled.
Exactly. It's all about taking bits and pieces and just putting them together in a new way, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, an intricate tapestry of stolen stuff.
I love it. I love it. That'd be a great title for your autobiography, right there, mate.
I got to steal that.
Hey, nice one, matey. So, right, have you got going to give us a bit of a read then, sir?
Yeah, I'll give you a bit of a read. I have it open here in the Kindle, so I'll give you a
the
read.
Same as me. I've got. It's the only reason I own one. It's
literally the same thing. It's like, damn, I don't have my physical copy. Kindle, it is.
Yeah, Kindle. That was the only reason I bought one in the first place. Was for that reason, and the fact that I tried to do it once. When I do like the live readings, I tend to just have it done all with lights, with like fairy lights and things like that for the mood. And I tried to read from the actual book, and it was too dark, and I couldn't see. So I spent the entire reading with the book in my face like that, and it's not ideal. And then the second one, I tried to read it off the computer screen. So, but I'm blind, so I was right like that all the way through. So,
which gives a certain effect to the whole thing if you're right up to the camera.
Yeah. All you can see is my eyes peering into the lens like that. All right then, matey. I will bob off and just give me a wave or something when you're done. Oh, no.
Every mushroom cloud has a silver lining. Whatever magic the leprechauns had been using to hide from mortal sight, zombies saw right through it. If they spotted something moving with brains, then the zombies just shuffled after it until it was chow time. It didn't matter whether it was a human or a leprechaun, a brain is a brain at the end of the day. Of course, one thing people are good at doing is adapting. Even in the end times, some folk figured out there was a new job for them. Just as influencers had become a thing thanks to social media, zombiologists cropped up in some survivor camps to help people better understand the enemy. What the zombiologists did learn was interesting though, because for the first time in human history, we had two types of zombies to study, which led to a morbidly fascinating observation being observed and documented. That last part is important because the zombiologist who observed it only had a few minutes to write it all down before they were bitten. Thankfully, her notes were found a few weeks later when a search party had been sent out to find her, which they did, roaming around the woods of Wicklow, moaning for brains. Anyway, the discovery was that zombie humans and zombie leprechauns are after two vastly different things. The human variety are just like the movies imply, interested in eating brains. Those zombies whose lower jaw hasn't fallen off from decay just keep mouthing the same word over and over again. They want to eat the brains of humans. Yes, they will nibble on flesh, take a bite out of any exposed skin, but the brains are what they are after. And, as it turns out, this is not the same trait added to the legends so that zombies are scary and gross. There's a reason that they do this. Through all of human history, people have only ever wanted to do one thing at the end of the day: prove they are smarter than everyone else. Turns out that this trait is now ingrained in our genetic makeup and survives after the transformation from person to undead. Zombies want brains because on some level they think eating the brain will make them smarter. It doesn't, of course, but it did give the zombiologist enough information to come up with a unique distraction technique when they were out in the field. They carried with them human brains in bags. As the hordes of the undead shuffled towards them, the zombiologists just threw 3 or 4 brains out on the ground and ran. The zombies fell on the brains like hungry undead hippos, and the zombiologists got away. Wait, didn't you say that the zombiologists had got bit? I did, but I never said which type of zombie had done the biting. You see, if a human zombie can turn a leprechaun into a zombie leprechaun, then it stands to reason a zombie leprechaun can bite a human and have the same effect, which is exactly what happened. While all the normal zombies were chewing down on their free brains, a zombie leprechaun had been nestled in amongst the horde, broke free, and chased after the zombiologist. You see, she hated the noise that the zombies made, the constant moaning for brains. So while out in the field, she used headphones that could cancel out the sound if it got too much. The problem is that one of the best things to use in electronics is gold. It makes conductivity utterly amazing. So while zombies wanted brains, zombie leprechauns wanted nothing more than gold. Like grotesque squirrels, they attacked any human with gold, gnawing and biting at them to get the shiny trinkets in their mouth. Literally anything with gold. Jewelry, smartphones, coins. If it was even 1 carat, a zombie leprechaun could sniff it out. Tossing away some electronics or jewelry would have had the same effect as tossing a brain towards a human zombie. Not that the zombiologist thought of this, which was how she got zombified. Yes, that's a verb now. And lost her headphones in the process. Overall, a bum deal.
This is brilliant. I've got to say, we need this made. We need this merchandise made. Hungry undead hippos.
Hungry undead
little brains.
You can have holes in the snout so that the balls fall out when you snap them too quick.
Oh, yeah. Brilliant. Redbubble and Etsy. We got to try and make this.
Totally. We'll steal the idea. Again, another theft. We'll make millions.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well done, mate. That's brilliant. I love the zombiologist. The whole bit of the zombie leprechaun bites you.
How do you think I felt writing it?
This is going to be a brilliant read, this anthology.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just literally came because we've got Mr. Haltman here who actually said that's how it happened. It was on about how it all. It
was literally just a throwaway remark. I was like, "Oh, we should do this," and then it was like, "Let's do this."
Yeah, I've had a few things like that. It's like whenever I end up talking with David Green and Callum Pearce, we end up coming up with something ridiculous and making an anthology out of it. It's like we've got a couple coming out soon that were for that very reason, that very way, you know. So let's do something absolutely stupid. Yeah, we're doing it now.
There we are. Problem solved.
Well, speaking of which, here he is. Callum says, "Loved it, fab." Yeah. I'm just talking about the old Nookie-nomicon there, Callum.
Nookie-nomicon. God, I can't wait for this now.
Yeah. You Carry On Films. Carry On Films and Lovecraft. It's happening.
Brilliant.
In fact, it's done. It's coming out. There will be a proper announcement about it at some point, but yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. No, cheers for that, mate. It was good and well read and all the rest of it. Yeah, so I'll take you off and I'll bring on our next guest, who is currently in Sweden. It is TJ Berg. Tracy, how are you doing? Unmute. There you go.
I did. No, I'm not muted.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Yeah. So, how are you doing? Do you live over in Sweden?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Lund. It's down in the south.
Yes. Yeah. Well, funnily enough, Mr. Haltman's over in Sweden as well. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure whereabouts he is, but yeah, I'm sure he can comment. Yeah.
Probably somewhere unpronounceable.
Yeah, that's what I find with Sweden.
I'm shamefully bad at pronouncing the Swedish city names.
I'll tell you the one I'm worst at, considering where I'm from, it's just down the road, is Wales. I am terrible at pronouncing Welsh towns. I can't do it.
I've been, and I'm there with you.
Yeah, I've got loads of friends, lots of Welsh friends, and I actually said that it was like, this is a conspiracy, isn't it? It's to make English people look stupid.
Yeah, we were driving through there once, and we asked some poor woman for directions to Mazi Ne Uth, and she stared at us for a while. And we showed her on the map, and she went, what? Oh, excuse you. It was just, I mean, I'm still slaughtering it, but
yeah. So Worlds Collide, what weirdness did you manage to concoct?
Well, there's a bit of a throwback to the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde horror theme, thrown in with some steampunk, some science fiction, and diet plans gone zombie level wrong. Nice. They're not quite legit zombies, but they're kind of zombies.
Yeah. It's not like 28 Days. They're not real zombies. They're rage zombies kind of thing. Yeah.
They're just very hungry.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, diet plans are bad. You gotta eat.
I love it. It's like, I just love this whole concept. It's just like somebody's just taken the brakes off all these authors and just go and do something stupid.
Wait, there's breaks? I didn't know about these breaks.
Yeah. There's some. I'm still trying to find them. I'm still trying to find them. Excellent. Right. So, are you going to give us a bit of a read?
Yeah.
Excellent. Yep. Just give me a wave when you're done and go for it.
All right. So, this is The Strange Case of Dr. Burch and Mrs. Campbell. She's peculiar, certainly, dear friend, but if I could just, for a moment, convince you to step into her workshop, I think you'll find she has exactly what you're seeking. The gentleman, Rialto, his purple velvet jacket tucked tight against the wind with one mechanical hand, held the door with his other. The second gentleman, more sedately dressed in a black waistcoat and a yellow shirt, reminded Dr. Burch of a nervous bee. She suppressed a laugh, thought how easy it would be, with the right potion and a few mechanical modifications, to make him into a bee. Antenna, stinger, some fuzz. That probably wasn't what he'd come around for, however. The bells jingled as the door closed. The mirrors in her workbench showed the bee-man's hesitance. Men were always hesitant around her. Rialto, whose hands she had custom built, visited only to bring her new business. If she came too close, his pointy little beard twitched nervously. She smiled, wiping oil from her fingers onto her smock, then adjusted the cog. "Dr. Burch!" Rialto called. He kept his hands tucked into his pockets, well away from anything in the workshop. He put on a confident smile for the bee-man. "Are you in, Dr. Burch? Belinda?" Dr. Burch twitched, set the screw in her cog. Her setup of audio phones, lenses, and mirrors allowed her to hear and see people enter the workshop. She had to remind herself that they couldn't see her. "Buzz, buzz," she hummed under her breath, giggling. Just one more cog, and then she could start setting the Brownian ratchets. And so little time. Always too little time. "Dr. Burch!" Rialto's voice dropped. Perhaps she's not in. Would she leave her door unlocked? Bee-Man followed his question with a panicked shout and a leap that brought him crashing into Rialto. A puff of smoke wafted into the air and out of the 3:00 cuckoo's beak. "Oh, drat." Dr. Burch mumbled to her butterfly. "I forgot to wind the fire clock. Losing time. Or is it fast?" She adjusted the last cog and straightened herself, stretching. Her keys, carefully chained round her waist, rattled as she bent and loosened her muscles. Then she marched down the series of corridors, keying through each locked door, and finally into the workshop where Rialto stood comforting Bee-Man. "Buzz, buzz," she hummed happily to herself. Visitors were a pleasure. They stole from her those precious hours before 5, but maybe they'd have an interesting puzzle for her. "Dr. Burch," Rialto said. She remembered to look up. Startled, she hopped back. His head had gotten enormous. He tapped his eye. Oh, yes, her teloptics. She rewound them with a soft whir and removed them to a bench top. Better now. Rialto and Bee-Man looked normal again. Except Bee-Man's shirt was still smoking. She reached over and patted the burnt sleeve. She risked a momentary glance at his face, then hurried back round her counter and busied herself with wiping its surface clean. "And what does the Bee-Man want?" she asked, but suspected it was too quiet, as neither man answered. She was always speaking much too quietly. She waited a bit longer to see if they would answer. Then a little bit longer, just in case they needed time to think. Rialto made a throat-clearing noise. What be, Dr. Burch? She glanced up to be sure she was aiming her finger in the right direction, then pointed at B-Man. Rialto laughed. He had a very nice laugh. Filbert, then. Oh, more laughter. Yes, well, Filbert, would you kindly tell Dr. Burch of your troubles? Yes, it is about my wife. His wife, it seemed, had been lying in a coma for nearly a month. I just want her back. I'm convinced she's alive in there. If only we could find some way to free her mind from its damaged cage. He sighed, was possibly crying. It made Dr. Burch feel quite dreadful. I'll have to come see her. She was sure, once again, that they couldn't hear her, as neither responded, so she left them to go gather her toolkit.
That's awesome. B-Man. I love him. B-Man's brilliant. Excellent. Yeah, very well read as well. Yeah, I'm enjoying that. Yeah. So yeah, loving the steampunk aesthetic you got going on there. All, yeah. I think it's there. I'm going to enjoy reading that one as well. Yeah, thank you. So I will take you off. Yep. And I will bring on our next guest, who is currently arsing around with something off screen. I can see you all in the back, by the way. It is all the way, all the way from sunny California. It is Mr. Josiah Witkowski. How are you doing, matey?
How are you, Tim? I'm great.
I'm good, man. Yeah, we've been meaning to get round to this for a while, haven't we?
Yeah, I was waiting for this book.
Yeah. So it was ages ago. You asked me, wasn't it? It was like if you do one of them things, let me in. So we'll do, man. I'm surprised I remembered it was that long.
As an indie author, you got to promote yourself, and I'm really bad at doing that. So,
yeah, it's bloody difficult. I think the thing I struggle with most is there's a really fine line between promotion and spam. And if you spam, you piss people off. but you need to promote. It's really difficult to get that balance, I find. But yeah,
just bragging and selling, that kind of line.
Yeah. I'm loving that backdrop you got going on there. Where are you again?
Oh, what was that?
Where are you? Did you say you were sitting in earlier?
Oh yeah. This is my secret fairy realm of the crazy medicine Buddha. Kind of like my Japanese garden.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Such a contrast because it's absolutely pissing it down outside. I can hear the rain against the window.
Bookshelf, but I've seen that before.
Yeah. Oh man, that's great. Yeah. So, your story. What did you mash together?
Well, I tried to get it in Adventure Awaits, but
right.
As far as I could tell, it's the first female swashbuckler that anyone's been able to point to me that's not a pirate.
Right.
So it's mostly historical fiction, but there's hints of fantasy, legend, and folklore.
Awesome. What's it called then?
Oh, what was that again?
What's it called?
Oh, well, she is the Purple Pistolera, but my story is Entranella Pistolera, a joyful venture. And since you wanted me to show it,
there we go. Awesome. Could you just open it up, try and find some of the illustrations? Because I know Callum did some illustrations, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was him? It was one who did that. I was stoked. And here's one of my own.
Oh, nice. Cool. Excellent. Yeah, no, I'm familiar. I've not read this, but I am familiar with the character because I've read about that character in something else, which will be coming out.
I was curious if I could do the intro and then maybe skip to the middle.
Yeah, do whatever you like, mate. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, it's whatever. Just go for it, man. Floor is yours. Just give me a wave when you're done, yeah?
This is a tale of an orphan girl from the Principality of Catalonia, during that flamboyant era known as the Baroque, a time of nobility, artists, explorers, and pirates, nestled between the innovative Renaissance and the calculating period of the Enlightenment. Raised in a nunnery within the municipality of Barcelona, the young Dolores Langtree learned her letters from scripture and obfuscation, avoiding the punitive lashings of mentors and habits. At the dawning of womanhood, the diminutive maiden found a way to escape the cloister, spending the nights roaming the streets and docksides of Catalonia's majestic capital, the city of Counts. It was during these moonlit sojourns that Dolores became aware of the seedier side of humanity. The haggling, brawls, seductions, thefts, and briberies did not pass unnoticed before the golden brown eyes of the innocent. This led to a crisis of belief, a dichotomy between the ordered sanctity revealed by the sun and the dirty underbelly concealed by the darkness. The lure of the night was too enticing for the orphan, too enthralling to contain in one minuscule being. So she invited from amongst her sheltered peers a handful of her closest confidants to temporarily break free from the confines of the nunnery. The infinitude of the outside world held the ability to bewitch all, and the girls took to the open air and their own proclivities towards temptation. One became fond of the intoxication of the vine, another enamored by strapping young lads. One longed to dance, but Dolores' inclination was to watch and learn from the gambler, the sneak, and the sailor, men of skill, of action, who live a life of freedom and adventure, so different from her own routine, which she felt was not much better than the dreary existence of a prisoner, caged and bound. When it became apparent that one of the truant girls had grown plump with child, the deflowered maiden was beaten so furiously that she lost the precious content of her fecund belly. It was on that pivotal day, the young orphan named Langtree pilfered what food and cutlery she could from the kitchens and departed the white walls of the Virgin, never to return. Despite an intimate knowledge of the alleyways of Barcelona, the fact that Dolores could no longer find refuge within the monastery left her vulnerable to exposure in all its grueling forms. After barely escaping abduction in an attempt at rapine, she made her way to the boatyard, more specifically, Le Venture Joyeux. The sleek caravel was not the most luxurious of ships that came and went from the docks, but it was kept relatively clean due to a diligent crew who radiated a most jolly disposition. Hiding away between the bulkheads, she made herself comfortable and scarce amidst the spare riggings. It was after a sleep deeper and more relaxing than she had been allowed for nearly a week that she arose to find herself adrift upon the Tyrrhenian Sea, with Barcelona but a shining sliver fading along the horizon. And then she has a stint in France, which I think you read part of, edited part of. But then she arrives in Genoa, full-fledged woman, and I'll continue there. Meandering through the cobbles and wagon ruts, Dolores became aware of a raw commotion from above. On a rooftop balcony, 4 stories high, she made out a small revelry, alit with lanterns and braziers. There was no stairway or ladder to access the merriment, just a drain pipe bolted to the wall. So, strapping her satchel securely over her shoulder, she began the ascent. As she reached the top and hopped the rail, she saw a dozen rascals, ruffians, and rapscallions of various sorts. Their only commonality was the bright red scarves wrapped around heads, waists, or limbs. The party did not detect her presence at first, but as she boldly approached, they sprang to their brandishing wide blade daggers in her direction. When they realized the intruder was nothing more than a petite, unarmed woman, the man nearest to her motioned the gang to lower their weaponry. The flickering light shone against the man's deeply bronzed flesh and stringy chin beard as he eyed the newcomer up and down. His attire was a hodgepodge of faded rags and flamboyant sashes that secured an ornate saber to his side. But the surrounding members of the gathering seemed to hold the eccentric character in some regard, so they allowed him to speak for them. How did you get up here, ragazza? With open mouth, wide-eyed honesty, Dolores responded, I climbed. The conglomeration of rogues nodded and chuckled, impressed by the fearless audacity of the invited guest. In the queue, the man continued, "And can we have the madame's name?" "Dolores Larenc," she stammered. "I am here. I just newly arrived from the west today." The man responded with a flourishing bow. "Madame Larenc, I am Signor Jerome, and we are the Crimson Cinquedeas, cavaliers unranked and currently dismounted, men of novel virtue and particular skills." This final remark brought hearty guffaws from the scoundrels behind him. Grabbing a bottle from a stool, the swarthy man handed it to her. "If you are to grace our presence with your beauty, then you must drink with us." Not wanting to be rude, she took a swig and immediately coughed out the sour and rancid-tasting liquid, the worst wine she had ever tasted. The party exploded in laughter at her response, but not wishing to be humiliated, she took a 3-gulp swill and managed to follow it down before handing it back. Swiping drops from her chin and giving Jerome a steely glance, he offered the young woman... Oh, I lost my place. He offered the young woman a seat and a bowl of pistachios as the men introduced themselves and questioned her lightly about her history. Jerome, who the scoundrels teasingly labeled the Moor for his deep skin tone, narrow eyes, and beak nose, took interest in the orphan's curious tale, and when he learned of her brief nautical stint, his wine-addled mind brewed a scheme to recruit her into their numbers. "Ragazza, we like your spirit. It would be an honor if you were to join our company. Would you like to wear the crimson?" Taken aback by the request, she uttered out a response before thinking, "Yes," not realizing the predicament she stepped into. He raised a brow flirtatiously. "We are a loyal and leaderless organization, but to bear the red requires proof of your mettle and acumen. Would you take it upon yourself to perform a quest for us?" Not wishing to disappoint the first people she met in this coastal city, and possibly emboldened by the strong vintage, she attempted a response to match the wits of this overdressed freebooter. "It depends on what said mission requires. I do have standards. Follower of Christ, I will not harm another." Stroking his dark chin scruff, Jerome turned towards the docks, easily visible from the rooftop vantage, and pointed to a particular merchant's vessel. "You see that ship yonder, fair madam? Being a man of fine taste and high aesthetics, I would consider it a noteworthy gift if you were to return to us that purple flag upon the mast. Since you snuck upon us so silently and have worked the nest previously, such an endeavor should be no problem from one of your talents. Am I correct in this estimation?" She internally debated the proposition, the risks versus rewards, then nodded her agreement to Jerome's weather-beaten face. "One more thing, madame." He handed her a broad-blade dagger, the namesake of their gang. "Do not get caught, and do not name us."
Bravo. Yeah, great reading, mate. Well done. Yeah. And she's a great character. I really like her as a character. So are you planning on doing more stuff with that?
I got my about 1.5 done for a novella. I just gotta get the rights back and send it in.
Nice. Excellent, man. Excellent. Yeah, because you've got another story with that character coming out in Musketeers versus Cthulhu anthology that I edited. And yeah, it was an easy that was an easy acceptance, that one. Yeah. Excellent.
Honored.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man. Kudos for the props. No, you did a great reading there, mate. Yeah, some good voice acting and everything. Really engaging, man. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Cool. Righty. I'll take you off and I'll bring you back on in a bit. No, I nearly took myself off again. I keep doing that. I keep pressing the wrong button. Right. Okay. We're going to go to our last guest of the evening, Mr. LT Emery. Luke, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Aye, not bad, mate. Yeah, so you got the kid off to sleep then?
Yeah, she went down all right tonight for a change.
Yeah.
Normally,
it's a running theme. It's like I think three separate ones. You're all doing the same thing, like trying to get the kid down quick. So whereabouts are you then, mate? Yeah.
Sorry.
So whereabouts are you?
I'm down in Portsmouth.
Portsmouth? Oh, not far from me then.
Yeah, not far from you, just up the road.
Yeah. Sometimes I used to go down to Portsmouth quite often. I've not been for a while, but I used to go down very often. I've got friends down there in Portsmouth. Who do like the dodgy goth nights down in Portsmouth?
I used to attend a few of those myself.
Is it the Firehouse? I think it's called. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, I can't remember. It's been a while. So your story then, mate. What weirdness did you concoct?
Mine's going to seem quite tame, I think, compared to the zombies and the swashbuckling we've had. Mine's most historic fiction, so it's based in ancient Rome.
Ooh, nice.
And then I've thrown in a load of monsters just to spice things up.
What's wrong with that? That's brilliant. That's perfect.
Yeah. So no zombies in here, but a few monsters.
Oh, excellent. So you've got a sort of a variety of monstrous creations in there.
Well, only one type of monster, but quite a lot of them.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, you can't go wrong with a good horde, can you?
Well, that's it, yeah.
Yeah. Right, matey, if you want to give us a bit of a read.
Sure will.
Perfect. I'll take myself off and I'll just give me a nod and I'll come back when you're ready.
Cool. Okay, so mine's called Pluto's Gate. So I'm going to start it a little bit of the way through. It's basically a story about a retired centurion who is paid a visit by the new emperor of Rome, Caligula. So he is literally just about to meet the new Caesar. But first he has to pay a little visit to somebody else. So this is the start. Phimono, it's good to see you, I said. Antonius, it's been too long. The oracle stood at the centre of her temple, surrounded by 20 marble block columns. Between all, save one, stood marbles of statue gods, standing stock still, garbed from head to toe in a red cloak with the hood hanging over her head, masking most of her features. She exuded an almost godlike confidence and ease. Not long enough, I said, smiling at her. She pulled back her hood, revealing a round face, hair and lips as red as her cloak. Piercing green eyes seemed to gaze into my soul. I came to her temple with two tasks in mind. First, in the hope the oracle would tell me my worries were wrong, even though I knew they were right. She saw right through me. You wish to know your future, yet you already know it. Why come to me? Please don't talk prophecy to me. We've been through too much together. Ah, yes, that hellhole west of Dacia. We saved each other that day. Yes, I fear what is about to come will be more. Do you see a future where I'm retired and happy with my family? Phimono gave a mournful smile. I see a day to come when the hidden will be revealed. I see a door being closed and a shut door being opened. I see pain and loss and victory. I see much, Antonius. I just want to farm and be happy with my family. I fought enough for 10 lifetimes. We must fight for what we want. Fight, fight, fight. Is that all life is, I asked. You already know the answer to that one, she said, chuckling. Tell me, Antonius, has there not been a small part of you expecting this day to happen since we were sent here to keep watch? I shook my head in sheer stubborn disbelief. Yes, but not when the bloody Emperor of Rome is visiting. Maybe there is a reason for his presence too. I raised an eyebrow. I hadn't thought of that, but quickly dismissed it. Not everything was thanks to Parse. I'm sorry I don't have the answers you seek. I waved a hand at her. You merely say what you see. You need not be sorry. I looked to the statue of Virtus, god of bravery and strength, and whispered a prayer to him. I then completed my second task. I slit the sheep's neck at the temple. I made it an offering to the gods, even though I knew it would do me no good, but leaving a haunch in futile hope. As I left the oracle, she called to me. Antonius, you should ready your blade. One step ahead of you, Phenomo, I shouted over my shoulder. Not that one, she said, and my blood ran cold. And that's the end of my reading.
Excellent. Brilliant, mate. Well done. Yeah, did a good job there, sir. Yeah. I'm loving the setup with that. I'm loving the setup with it. Yeah. Yeah,
that's it. It's getting things spicy before the action really hits.
Yeah. That's always something I find really difficult with these excerpts, because you don't want to give too much away that it spoils the story, but you don't want to not give enough away.
you literally even wanting more.
Yeah. This is it. I find it really tricky. I never know which bit to do, so I usually just go from the beginning and hope for the best.
That's what I've always done with these sorts of things.
Yeah. No, I'm a sucker for ancient Rome stories anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that one as well. Excellent.
Good.
Cool. Yeah. There we go. Abigail says she's such a good reader. Yeah. And so right, matey, I will take you off, and I'll bring you all back on in a moment. Right, yeah, so that leaves me with my story. So, but yeah, we'll be doing a Q&A round table in a moment. So if you have any questions for us, put them down in the comments there, and I'll try and get through them. Sometimes on my end, it gets all a bit confused. All the comments come in at random points on the thing, so sometimes I miss things. If I miss anything, I apologize. But yeah, just get them down in the comment section and we'll go for it. Right. My story is I decided I wanted to murder childhoods. I initially wanted to do Winnie the Pooh, but I was scuppered because somebody else has done Winnie the Pooh meets Lovecraft in an anthology called Through a Mythos Grimly. It's like fairy tales, and somebody's done a really good one, and I was like, I can't compete with that. So I thought, right, where can I go next? So I decided Wind in the Willows was the way to go. So my story is called The Madness in the Willows. I'm going to come into it a little bit in the way through. Mole has woken up. He's had a bit of an argument with the grumpy old rabbit about sixpences and all the rest of it. And he's gone off in a huff to go to the bank. But the bank's shut, because the banks are always shut, because, so he's decided he's going to take a walk and go and see his mate Toad. So we pick it up with Mole. He's just got onto the riverbank. "Hello, ducks," Mole called out upon sight of his feathered acquaintances. He was almost at Toad Hall and was surprised to see them this far down the water. The ducks didn't respond. There wasn't a single quack or a single wing raised in greeting. Odd. "Hello, ducks," Mole tried again, a little louder this time. "How goes the day?" Again, not even a flutter of recognition. Mole paused and looked on with a puzzled expression on his face. The ducks were in a line formation and were swimming around in a strange series of curves and bends. It looked like they were drawing some kind of symbol on the water. Mole found himself unable to take his eyes off the rippling waters. It was as though he were momentarily hypnotized. "Psst, over here!" Mole looked around, startled. The shock had broken his reverie. Hello?" He couldn't see where the voice had come from. Then a reed waved back and forth like a flag. "Down here!" Mole moved cautiously towards the beckoning voice. "Who's there?" A broad and sleek muzzle with greying whiskers suddenly popped out of the weeds. "It's me, Otter." "Hello, Otter," Mole replied. "What's the matter with that lot?" He jerked a chubby thumb in the direction of the ducks. "Beats me," Otter shrugged. "They've been doing it all morning. Just swimming round and round. It's cheesed me off no end." He exclaimed, "This is my favourite fishing spot, and that bunch of demented feather bottoms have scared off all the blasted fish. I figured they were practising their synchronised swimming for next year's games, but why do they have to do it here?" I'll never know. The disgruntled river dweller shook his body in frustration, splashing Mole's blue coat with muddy water. Hey, careful, Mole squeaked. Oh, blow me, I'm sorry, Moley. They just get my goat sometimes, you know. Anyone would think they owned the dratted river. Otter paused and took a deep breath. Anyway, what are you up to? That's all right, Otter, Mole said as he wiped the droplets off his jacket. I was just off to see Toad. I could do with some cheering up. Otter snorted. I'm not sure he wants company today, the dirty little duck. Oh? Mole cocked his brow. Yeah, I saw old Toady today lurking down amongst the willows. He was reading again. Well, that doesn't sound so bad. It was what he was reading that was the problem. Oh, he wasn't reading one of those racier books from Badger's library again, was he? Mole smirked. Nah. Otter wiped his whiskers with his paws. He wasn't reading a book. He was reading an... Otter searched for the right word. Artistic magazine. Mole looked at him, confused. You know, one of those glossy ones with lots of artistic photographs? Mole gasped. Exactly. I had to cover young Portly's eyes. All those pictures of lady frogs stretching their long legs out. Well, it's enough to put you off your dinner. Well, Mole shook his head. The mucky little devil. I think I'd better go and drag him out for some fresh air. It'll do him the world of good. That or a cold shower. Otter chuckled. Good luck with that. I'm going to stay and keep an eye on that daft lot. He indicated the ducks, who were still swimming around and around and around, seemingly in some kind of trance. Mole turned to walk away, then paused. Before I go, you haven't seen Ratty, have you? Otter thought for a second. Nah, not since this morning. He was heading towards town, muttering about chicken sandwiches and soggy bread. Yeah, that sounds like Ratty. Okay, Otter, toodle-pip. Toodle-pip, Moley, Otter replied before resuming his vigil. After one last glance at the silently swimming ducks, Moley rejoined the towpath and continued on his way. It wasn't long before Toad Hall started to become visible through the trees. The frigid wind that had earlier cut him to the bone had all but stopped. It was eerily quiet. The only noise was the sluggishly flowing river as it lapped at the jetty of Toad's boathouse. Pulling his coat tighter around him, Mole pressed on towards Toad Hall. Mole leapt 2 feet in the air as a shambolic creature came crashing out the bushes to his left. Fearing for his life, Mole balled his strong paws and prepared for a fight. Imagine his surprise then when he was greeted by the startled face of his friend, Mr. Toad. Vertagen! Bellowed Toad, his eyes wide and swivelling beneath his ridged brow. Mole looked at his friend like he'd just dropped from the moon. I beg your pardon. What? Toad stammered. Oh, hello, Moley. You startled me. I startled you? What the devil were you doing sneaking around in the bushes like that? Mole panted as he tried to slow his racing heartbeat. Toad had regained his composure somewhat, though he still looked kind of manic, like he'd had one too many cups of coffee. Oh, you know, I was just taking a shortcut. I had some business to attend to. His eyes betrayed his furtive nature. He must have guessed, as he gave them a good blinking before continuing. Anyway, what brings you to Toad Hall? Mole was still all of a dither. The morning's weird atmosphere, coupled with Toad's odd behaviour, had knocked him for a loop. I was coming to see you, actually. Me? Why? Aside from me being fabulous, that is. There it was, the Toad that Mole knew and begrudgingly loved. He sighed. I've had a bad day and I needed cheering up. He leaned in close and whispered, Have you noticed anyone acting odd? Aside from you mean? Toad chortled. No, you dolt. Like the ducks down the river, like the squirrels, like the crows. He put his hands on Toad's chest and found that, to his surprise, it was hard. Mole creased his brow and patted the area with one of his paws. What you got there, Toad? The sneaky look returned to his face in a flash. It's just a book. Up your coat. It's a really old book. I don't want to get it wet. Mole remembered what Otter had just told him about Toad's reading habits. An old book, eh? You mucky little devil. Toad's green cheeks flushed postbox red. It's not like that. Really? Really? Folding his arms over the book-shaped lump in his coat, Toad spluttered. Anyway, I must be going. Busy, busy, busy. Poop, poop. Before Mole could utter a single word in reply, Toad had taken to his heels and charged off towards his abode. You'll go blind, Mole called out after him in exasperation, then sighed once again. Well, so much for Toady cheering me up. Pulled his watch out of his coat and checked the time. Oh, well, the bank should be open by now. I'll just go home. Feeling dejected, Mole turned around and started his lonely walk back towards town. There you go. That was an excerpt of The Madness in the Willows. So I will bring on my guests. Bring them back. Ooh. Hang on. My mouse had frozen. Right. First, we have Charlotte. Hello.
Hello.
Tracy. Luke. Derek. And Josiah. You've all changed. Ahoy, Ahoy sir. No, the sunglasses are out now. Excellent. Right, yeah. So you people at home, get some questions in. If not, I've got one to start. So, if this anthology, right? Basically, I had several different ideas, like I said, before I hit on the final one. If this anthology came around again, what ridiculous thing would you create for the next one? If there was a part 2, what ridiculous idea would you come up with for it? So mine will probably include tentacles. I mean, that's kind of a given, really, isn't it?
It wouldn't be a Tim Mendees story about tentacles, would it?
It wouldn't, would it? It wouldn't.
Kind of a successful brand there.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the day he writes one without tentacles will be the day we all kind of go, "Oh, something's up."
Yeah. That'll be the day people go, "Is he not well?
Is he not well?"
Yeah. I was thinking maybe something like, something like Tess at the D'Urbervilles meets Cthulhu or something. I would want to get something like that. I think,
I'd read that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, Charlotte, what would you come up with?
Man, that's a really tough question.
Isn't it?
I already kind of did a couple of mashups for the Adventure Awaits calls as well. So I've gone through a few now.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Because one of the stories was it mixed Wild West with World War II.
Nice.
And the other story was sort of dinosaurs and modern day and things like that. So, and then obviously Zeus and the zombies. I don't know. Maybe I might have to throw Doris Day in somewhere. Like, she was awesome. So
awesome. I like it.
Could do something random with her, I'm sure.
Yeah. Zombies, golden age of Hollywood. Wow, you could. This is it. The ideas are limitless, aren't they? It's just a question of plucking the right ones at the right time.
Exactly, yeah.
Tracy?
I don't know. There's an old story I wrote that involved a haunted outhouse in a Wild West town, and
a haunted outhouse.
Yes.
I'd read that.
I'd like to revisit that town, I think, someday, and really delve into what's going on.
Haunted outhouse.
Yes.
Was there one ghost in there, or was it 2?
What was it?
Was it a one ghost or a 2 ghost?
Nice. It's sort of like the thing is, because there's the anthologies that Hellbound Books have done, the Toilet Zone, like for flash fiction. But I keep trying to think of something. But I have done tentacles coming out of a toilet in a novella that's coming out with Nordic Press at the end of the month. So
I'm looking forward to that one.
There are some brutal scenes in there.
Oh yeah, you read it, didn't you? Yeah.
I'm nearly done. It's really
nice. Yeah, Luke, ideas.
I had an idea. I know Abigail put a call up on her Summer Storm Press for Wild West stories, and I had an idea for a Wild West in space story when I was watching The Mandalorian. And obviously that's sort of like that. So I would probably circle back and do that. Or I would like to do a bit like, what's his name? The guy who wrote the Dresden, Jim Butcher. He was challenged, wasn't he, to fuse Pokemon and Rome together. And he created a whole series. But I've got a novel that's sort of Pokemon times sort of Portal Adventure, so I'd quite like to circle back to that next.
Nice. Yeah, because you've got your superhero thing as well.
Yeah, that's coming soon. Yeah, so it's all There's
excellent.
Like you say, there's so many options.
This is it, isn't it? That's the great thing about it, isn't it? You can just, I tend to have them moments. I tend to get them when I'm trying to go to sleep at night, and I'll get this stupid idea in my head, and I'll have to get up and write it down before I forget it.
Yeah. Mind scenarios.
So Derek, yeah. You always get these great ideas at 4 a.m. I don't know why it is. Derek?
I actually had an idea a long time ago, and I found a sketch recently of it where it's a pirate story, but you kind of put in the fantasy elements so that the pirate ship can fly, but then they actually start doing space travel instead of just like another flying ship around the fantasy world thing. So like I was trying to work in like the whole interstellar pirate ship, like, so it's a wooden ship that flies through space powered by crystals that give it like a life shield and an engine and stuff like that. And I had that whole thing plotted out. I never wrote it, but if I was to do it again, I think I'd probably take a stab at right, something like that.
That sounds incredible. I'd read that. But then you could have like a deep space kraken.
Yeah, again, tentacles. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
I tell you what, why don't we write it together? There we go. It's writing itself. You write the Kraken side, and I'll write the pirate side.
I'll write the Kraken side. I'll give you 5,000 words of tentacles coiling and uncoiling in space. Nice. Josiah?
I would try to humanize Flora. So, nice. Like, how would even though they're not animated in the sense of moving creatures, how would they handle themselves in a grove?
Nice. So, like,
kind of like your Wind in the Willow setting where they're all in one town.
Yeah.
But how it's a little kind of past my mind right now. But how would you make an adventure out of that? That's
a great idea. Because you could have all the bitchy infighting, couldn't you? Like the roses hate the tulips and things like that. You know?
Yeah, it'd be mostly dialogue and I'd imagine.
Yeah. Spitting pollen at the ones they don't like. Yeah. You can make that work.
Root boxing under the ground or something, or
root boxing. Yes. I love it, man. Under the soil, they're actually wrestling. They've actually got each other in like submission holds under the soil.
yeah, like the pines know jujitsu, but the oaks know kung fu or something.
I love it. I bloody love it. You need to write that, mate. You need to do it. Right. We've got a question from Abigail. Say, what is everybody's process? Writing outlines, how many drafts, that kind of thing. I'm a complete and total pantser. I don't plan anything. I tend to basically have an idea. I'll write the title and I'll just start typing. And that's kind of how it just comes together for me. I've tried to do outlines of things before, and I just spend all that time actually writing notes and not actually writing anything. So if I don't just start writing, I'll never get anything finished, because the stuff I try and plan just doesn't work. And I'll tend to just do one, basically almost like a stream of consciousness draft, and then I'll go back through it and cut bits out and put bits in and bugger about with it, and then polish it, edit it properly, and that's basically it, really. I tend to do like two or three drafts, maybe, something like that. Charlotte?
So if I'm writing something longer, I tend to plan it out at least roughly, so I don't lose track of where I'm going with it. But for shorter stories, I'm a bit more like you. I have my rough idea in my head, and then I wing it and have an adventure.
Yeah, exactly. I think, with the longer ones, I mean, I tend to usually start with an ending and a bit in the middle, so I know vaguely where I'm heading, and then just make it up and just get to the bits I want to get to. Yeah. So you have a similar process to me then. Yeah.
Sounds like it. Yeah. Tend to do, maybe 3 drafts. I always do at least 2 edits myself on what I'm working on, and I try, and if I can, get someone else to have a look at it, because when you've read it so many times yourself, you always miss something.
Yeah, I do. I use my partner as a beta reader. So I read that and tell me if it makes any sense. That's,
I've got a good friend who tends to read most of what I write through as well. Yeah. So.
Excellent. Yeah, I think beta readers are quite important. I mean, I've only got the one, but it is because you always miss something. Yeah.
Always.
Always. It's like the amount of like major published by like main big publishers, mainstream publishers, and you'll still find typos. You'll never find them all. There's always something. Constant. Yeah, there's always something. So, Tracy, what's your process then?
I feel like you described it for me. Complete pantser. There's a little nugget of an idea in my head, and I just start writing, and what happens. Sometimes I have a bit in the end that I kind of know I want to get to, but just sort of.
Yeah, that's kind of what I get. I get snippets of dialogue in my head and sort of go, right, well, I want to put that in, so I've got to make a reason for that to happen, sort of thing. That's basically it. Yeah.
I mean, this story was entirely written off of the title.
Nice.
I mean, I knew a girl named an adult woman named Dr. Burch, and she got married and became also Mrs. Campbell, and that was it. I needed to write the story.
Brilliant. That was brilliant. Yeah, I love it when that happens. I'll get, like I say, a lot of mine just comes from a title. I'll get a stupid idea of a title in my head, like a pun or something, and then have to try and write a story just so I could use the pun. There. Luke, what's your process, matey?
I'm a bit of a planner and a bit of a pantser. I'm a plantster. But yeah. I tend to have like the key sort of like, I know the start, I know the midpoint, and I know how I want to get there. And then the rest sort of goes as I go. I think with this one, with Pluto's Gate, it almost wrote itself with all the research. I spent so much time researching it because I wanted to put the fantasy in with actual historical record. Yes. So like Caligula was originally a beloved emperor. When he first started the first year of his reign, he was a beloved emperor before he went crazy. This story is almost telling the event of how he went crazy,
how he became
through the eyes of a retired centurion. Lunatic, yeah. So I was like, how can we sort of all link this together? And the oracle that I used in the story is genuinely the first oracle of Delphi. So I've sort of that it all sort of wrote itself. I had the idea, did the research, and I was like, well, these pieces of the puzzle all fit together nicely. So let's just crack on.
Yeah,
I think I was quite lucky with this one, to be honest.
The thing is, I noticed that myself if it's something historical, because obviously if it's a different beast entirely if you're doing something that's set in like a historical period. Because like when I did the Jack the Ripper anthology thing, like that basically wrote itself because of all the research. It was just like, right, well, I know where that character is on that date. I know what happens on that date. I know what happens there. I've just got to write some words to tie it all together. Yeah. So I think that's a different beast, isn't it, if you're doing historical?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, how long did it actually take you to research it?
I reckon I spent probably 2 weeks researching it and making notes. Yeah. But it was sort of like, that was right in the plan as well. So sort of that had me all the hit points. And then it was, literally just having to go and write the dialogue, put it in a setting, make it interesting, make it exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, And I think I did 2 drafts of this one before I sent it in. Then obviously another edit before we went live.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It was an easy write, which is always nice.
It is, isn't it? It's always some. It's weird, isn't it? Because sometimes
you get some, don't you?
You get some that are just like, oh, just work, and they won't work no matter what you do with them. Yeah. And then others, it's weird, isn't it? Because I've rattled off like novellas at like 30,000 words in like a couple of weeks, and they've just been an absolute breeze. And then I've struggled over 3,000 word stories. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Sometimes
it is. Yeah. I feel your pain.
Yeah. Derek?
I'm a total planner, so short stories and novels get planned out.
You missed a post-it note?
No, I have a Microsoft account, and it has OneNote in it, so I kind of just spew it all out there. But I go then by chapters, and I can drag my bits around it as I'm going. And draft one, then I always consider just get it onto the paper draft. So typos, spelling mistakes, plot holes, they're all fired out. For novels, I think I've gone 8 drafts before I declare them finished. And then for short stories, I usually maybe go to 2 or 3. And I end up having a file that I call the artifacts file. So as things are getting ripped out, it's like it's too good not to use it again somewhere else. So like each project ends up with an artifacts file of like dialogue or an idea or something that I might use again somewhere down the line.
Yeah, I do.
But I can't just do a stream of consciousness. I don't know how you do it. Fair play, hats off.
Yeah. I'm the opposite. I can't do that. Like I just spend all my time buggering around in OneNote and not actually do anything. I just get because the thing is, I find that kind of thing really just like difficult. Like I struggle with a lot of technology, so I just spend all the time shouting at OneNote, and because it wouldn't be doing it how I want it to do it or something. I don't know. I'd find some way.
Might I suggest a notepad and a pen?
Yeah, I do that, but that's for like 4 a.m. stupid ideas. That's why I've got notepads strategically placed around the flat. I've got one on the windowsill outside the bathroom. I've got one next to the bed. I've got one next to the telly. Yeah, it's got to be done. Josiah, what's your process, matey?
Oh, well, I'm a Californian, so we got to go with the flow. We either do it or it doesn't get done. And if an idea comes that kind of jumps into the future, I write that at the bottom of the page.
Yeah,
I am trying to get more on the computer because otherwise it kind of takes double the time. But it also.
So you got yours longhand first, then?
Yeah, I'm pen and paper first, but usually, and I'm trying to switch that up. But it does give me time to edit to double the time. So
that's a good point. Yeah, because you're already doing the edit when you're typing it up, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah. See what sentences you totally mangled or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did the first few things I wrote out longhand first. And then I switched to computer. I don't know which is the best process. It just, different people, different methods, isn't it? I guess. Yeah. It's what works. Yeah. But the thing is with the pen and paper method, you can do it anywhere, can't you?
That's true. And I try to keep it on me.
Yeah. That's it. If inspiration strikes and you're down the beach or up in the hills or something, man.
Yeah. Because I'm also a Californian and I don't have a memory. So that thing's vital. Those 2 instruments.
Pen and paper. Otherwise you can't function. Nice. I get you, man. I get you. I have to write everything down, or I don't know what I'm doing half the time if I don't. Cool. Righty-ho. We got another question I did see up there from Abigail. Right, here we go. What is something conventionally feel good? Conventionally feel good. You've written. I don't think I've written anything conventionally feel good. I think
Tim just gets skipped over here.
Yeah, I think basically all my characters main characters either end up dead or insane. It's cosmic horror. There's no such thing as a happy ending. I think the nearest would be probably something like this, which is more comedic, even though it's still got the horror in there, but it is more comedy. So I guess this would probably be a good example. Charlotte?
I've done some romance, but does paranormal romance count as conventional?
I guess, I don't know. This is it. I have no idea. I don't know what conventional is.
I've done a couple of the Black Ink's Bones Hollow series. So in books 4 and 5 of them, I've got a couple of stories.
Nice.
So it's kind of like Hallmark, but meets supernatural.
That works. I guess that's feel good. I would say. Yeah, I would say. Yeah. Tracy?
I don't really have a lot that makes you feel good when I write it. This has been, my son sometimes is like, can I hear the story? And I'm like, no, you're 6. But I guess, but surprisingly, actually, I do have something coming out at Andromeda Spaceways soon that is, it's surprisingly nice. Right. And, one sister's chasing across the landscape after her other sister who's been kidnapped, and they are using weaponized poetry to chase down the prince that has snatched her.
Weaponized poetry? That's amazing. That's brilliant.
It's nobody dies.
Really?
Yeah, nobody dies. Nobody dies in that one.
Feel good. Is the happy ending? That's feel good. Luke?
But most of mine aren't feel good. I've got one story I would say is, and that was a little Halloween story I wrote a while back called Frankenstein's Halloween. And it was about a kid with gigantism that just wanted some friends. And his mother kept him in. And it was Halloween, and he was like, "Oh, Halloween's the day where I'm normal and got some friends."
Cool. Yeah, I would say that's feel good.
That was feel good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's Halloween. It's the only day of the year I feel normal. It's the only day of the year I don't get funny looks down the supermarket. Yeah, Derek.
That's a good question, actually.
Well, I would say that zombie leprechauns is feel good.
Well, yeah, maybe not. I did write a short story for a podcast. It was a friend of mine turned it into an audio, and it's about the last potato at the dinner table. And like the whole thing, it's like 30 minutes long, but it's like the dilemma of how do you get the last potato using proper table etiquette. And there's a fairy involved, and the fairy wants the last potato, but the people the mortals at the table also want the last potato, and they have to kind of figure out how to say it without explicitly saying it.
That's genius.
Do you know that is just so British Isles.
Yeah.
Would just be like, I'm taking a potato. It's mine.
It's based off. I was on. My wife got me a fantastic birthday present. I got to go to a writer's retreat on an island off the coast of Dublin, and there was 8 of us there, and you were just there for 5 days to write, and that's where the story originates from. There was an English guy there, and he was like trying to figure out how he gets the last potato, and I was like, "What are you doing? Just take the potato." And he's like, "Oh no, I have to offer it, but I have to want it, and I have to not ask for it, but I have to also want it and see if you want it." And I was like, "I'm writing this into a story."
Every time. It's us English, mate. Every time.
Yeah.
I go to a restaurant and there'll be something left, and I'll go, "Does anybody want that?"
That's what he did.
I want it.
Did anybody want that? And I let him do it one night. He goes, "Does anybody want that?" And I went, "Yes." And I reached over with the fork, and he started moving the tray back. And he's like, "Do you really want it?"
Should have skewered it.
Yeah, the Scottish were the same way. I've lived in England and Scotland, and they were all like that. It was like, they would all just stare at that last thing on the table, and no one would ever take it.
Yeah. Every time it's like crisps. It's like because I've worked in pubs all my life, right? And you walk around at the end of the night and you pick up the empty crisp packets and things like that, and you'll always find that there's like 2 crisps left in the bag. Because nobody wanted it. Everyone's too polite to take the last crisps. I don't know why. It is ridiculous, but I think Josiah's had trouble with his internet connection. He's disappeared anyway. But if he comes back, we'll put the question to him. Right, so we got another question here. Hang on. Oh, here we go. We've got follow up on that from Abigail, who says, as a Midwestern American, I would be taken out and shot if I took the last of something and didn't offer it to anybody else. And
well, I'm from the Midwest too, but we're polite but also frank.
It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, it's like you notice more in Europe. In Europe, people will just, it makes sense, doesn't it? If you want something, just take it. Nobody really gonna care. but over here, we'll spend all day pushing a fucking chip around on the plate before one of us will take the damn thing. Oh, I think Josiah's coming back. I think here he is. Yeah.
Sorry,
you're right, mate.
There is
problem with your internet connection. Yeah. Same question. Anything? Have you written anything conventionally feel good?
Well, that's kind of why I did the Pistolera, the swashbuckling tales. Was everything I was doing was either grim or tragic or sad or apocalyptic ending. And sometimes there's happy endings to the story, and that's still realistic. So heroine escapes and escaping with at the last minute or something, and so that's what she's all about.
Yeah. Swinging on the chandelier, all that kind of business.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I tell you, actually thinking about it, I'm probably the Eugene Ango stories are probably the nearest things I've done to feel good, because they're kind of the same thing. Bungling British explorer, like a really English version of Indiana Jones kind of thing, drinking his brandy and accidentally saving the day. That's kind of my idea of feel good, I reckon. But I'd say that swashbuckling, to me, that's kind of feel good. Cool. Right, I think we've got one last question before we go. It's from Callum, who did some of the drawings and things like that. It's did you all go with the first idea, or did you have other ideas brewing at the start? Like I say, I got through several different ideas. Winnie the Pooh was my first one. And then I wanted to do something almost James Bond, but I realised that I've already done something along them lines, and I couldn't do actual James Bond because of copyright. And I wanted to do Sherlock Holmes, but there's loads of Sherlock Holmes and Cthulhu. Wind of the Willows. I just thought it just made sense to me, for some reason. So, Charlotte, is that your first idea?
It was actually. Like I said earlier, I was kind of thinking I'll mash up those genres because they're my husband's favourites. So it's kind of a nod to him. So brilliant. The idea worked. Yeah.
Tracy?
I actually stole an old story that I had written for a while back. I got to be honest, most of my stories are a bit of a mashup of genres. So
a lot of mine are. Yeah.
So it wasn't too hard to pick through some of my stories that I'd already written and polish one up and
Yours was quite the mashup, I would say.
Yeah, I love Mr. B. Mr. B is awesome. I'm just going to walk around going buzz at people now. So, Luke?
Yeah, it was my first idea. First and only.
Nice. Yeah. Now, we already know about Derek. It was his ridiculous idea that started the whole anthology.
I think the only difference was actually I originally started to write it because I write my novels all in third person. So this is the first one I've ever done in the first person. So that I think I did give it maybe 5 pages in the third person. I didn't feel it was working. So I was like, I'm going to flip it the other way and do it. But yeah, basically it was my idea that started the whole thing. So I had to stick with Zombie Leprechaun.
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't want to do this anymore. You've got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you say that about the perspective, because I really struggle with first person perspective, because it's with the sort of thing I write, it's like, how do you end it in any way believable? Because the character's gonna die or end up insane. It's like, I've read some cosmic horror like stories that have been written in the first person and they literally end with you know, it's like, how'd you do it? It's like, I just struggle because there's only a couple of ways you could do it, isn't it? It's like, it's a manuscript found or it's a letter. Yeah. Once you've done that, you can't do every story like that. I just struggle with it. And I often think I'll do this first person and I get 2 pages into it and have to start again. So, yeah, interesting. Yeah. Josiah? Is he still there? Is he frozen? I think he's frozen, hasn't he? Are you there, mate? No, he's... It's an interesting expression he's got. Why? It's like whenever it freezes on me, I'm always pulling a funny face. Right, hang on. Just checking this before we start it. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, so thank you all for coming on tonight. And thank all of you lovely people at home for tuning in. And we've lost Josiah again, Bucker. But we're wrapping it up now anyway. So, yeah, Worlds Collide is out now. There is a link in the comments somewhere right at the top. I put it in just as we started. So click that. It's out now, paperback and ebook. It's come out through Nordic Press, and that's how you get hold of them. That's nordicpresspublishing.com. Yeah, so thank you guys. Before we go, just tell us a little bit what you're working on now. What are you working on now, Charlotte?
So I've been working on my first novel, which is pretty exciting. I'm also working on, I've been leading a project that kind of mixes fantasy with like an element of sort of ancient Greece. So I've got some great authors working on that with me.
Oh,
and
brilliant.
I won a writing competition last year. So I won a publishing contract with it. So I'm also working on an anthology for that. So I'm a busy bee at the minute.
Yeah, brilliant. Excellent. That's great. Tracy?
I'm just finished writing a novel.
Nice.
Haven't quite got a one-line pitch for it yet, but machine intelligences.
I can't do one-line pitches.
yeah. Machine intelligences reveal themselves to humanity, and then about 50 years later, a plague of demonic possessions sweeps the earth universally across all sort of young adults, and gotta figure out what's going on.
Awesome. Luke, what are you working on?
I have a novella out next week, actually, with Nordic Press. Yeah, Sunshine.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's out next Thursday, I think.
Oh,
and then I'm also working on a superhero anthology with your good self and Charlotte there, and a load of other really talented authors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Can't deny it.
We're nearly done there.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to getting hold of that, because it's bonkers in a great way.
Yes, yeah, it is really. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Derek, what are you up to then, matey?
I'm currently on draft 4 of the 5th book in my Filthy Henry the Fairy Detective series.
Nice.
So that's been slowly getting there. I need to have it out by Halloween because it's called Nearly Christmas, and the title kind of makes sense if it releases at Halloween. So I've set myself a bit of pressure on that one. And then I'm also involved with Christopher and Mr. Green and a bunch of other writers. We're doing a kind of an anthology based in the same world, so like a shared world story. Where there's just this one common event happening, but it's allowed us to kind of have genres mixed up and timelines mixed up, and it's a heap of fun to write because we're trying to tie it all together now. But that's keeping me busy.
Yeah, I love that kind of thing. I've done a few of those. I've run a couple and I've been involved in a few. So the one Luke's doing, that was the same sort of thing. They're always good fun, the author-led projects, where you can just sort of let loose a little bit and you have a bit of a laugh and get things to work. And it's always good. It's always good, isn't it? Because it can be quite a solitary vice, can't it? Writing, but I think, and doing it like involved with other writers, it's kind of, it's different. So it's always fun. Cool. Right. Well, thank you guys. It's a shame. I think Josiah's internet's given up. But anyway, thank you all for coming on. And again, thank you all at home. Click the link, buy the book, and we'll see you all again soon. So give it a wave, people. Go on. Wave at the lovely people at home. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.